Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 19th of March. Back again, decided that I ought to do one. It's been a fortnight since I did a video, and obviously things have started to come on a little bit. Looking forward to start feeding the fish and bringing them on best I can. Also, the garden, things have started to grow. Obviously, anybody who watched the last video, you'll actually see the progress it's made. One of the first things I'd like to do is apologise to some of the subscribers who I didn't reply to their comments. Basically because I'm useless at tech. I thought I had replied, I've had a look, no sign of it, so that's my fault, not unusual. What I've also been looking at is different comments about recycling and things like that. Later on I will show you in this video about recycling. I did go down to Andy at Derby Koi last week. I went down to see him. I thought I'd make a day of it, so I booked myself a game of golf and went and played Burton-on-Trent. Lovely people, enjoyed it there. Well, that's what I like to do. If I'm doing anything, I like to make a full day of it, or weekend, or whatever. I can say in my position, I do suffer a little bit with not always being here, because I do play quite a lot of golf and I can be away for a while. Luckily, I've got somebody who comes and checks the fish and checks the garden. I've got family close by. I won't be surprised one day if I don't come back and some of them's moved in. But as I say, I went down to Andy's, saw his fish, really impressed. I like the varieties. I like not to have all the same fish. I did say a few weeks ago I was going to go to Sunnybank Koi. I'm going down there next month, and again told my wife that I'll book us in a hotel and we'll go down and have a couple of days there, which will be very nice. She's chuffed to death, instead of me dragging her about and just telling her what she's got to do. She'll be in charge. We'll have a nice night out, obviously. Yesterday I went over to Absolute Koi. I said recently that I wanted a proper measuring bowl, and I've actually got that. Went spending. I've got myself a net sock. Now when he came out with that, I thought a white one, not a good idea. But at the end of the day, it's for this pond. I'm sure it will go green, but I'm going to test it, because it seems wrong colour, but even a black one, if it's mucky, it's mucky. Whether you can see it or not, it's irrelevant. I was going to do a comment about white boxer shorts and black boxer shorts, but I'm not going to do that. So I've been spending money at that. I've also watched a video a few weeks ago with Davey at one of the Black Country Boys, and he was having trouble with his skimmer, fiberglass, coming off. Well, I've set up a little bit of a test just here, just to show that you should rough everything up. If I get that, pulls off. That's not been roughed up at all. If I try and pull that off, that's just because it's been roughed up under there. I don't know whether you can see that. And that's why you always rough up shiny surfaces if you're going to try and fasten fiberglass to it. It's pretty obvious when you think about it, but if you wanted to make a mould like that tub, all you'd have to do is polish it and lay it up, gel coat it, and you could fiberglass it, and then it would release. If you didn't think it were going to release, it were going to shatter or anything like that, you'd use what they call a release agent. You paint that on, and that does the job. But if you do watch his video where the fiberglass has been round, he went back, ground it down and did it for him. Nice fella. Obviously I've been out spending my money up at alternative absolute koi. I've got this. I'm going to put a fish in here later, just to see how we get on. Just have a look at some of the big ones. The others I've had them in a tub before, the little ones, but some of the bigger ones I haven't. So I'm going to have a look, make sure they're all fitting well. I haven't cleaned this since last time I shown it, yeah. So it's starting to get a bit of muck in now. Now, I feel that with my setup, every year my pond goes green. And I think it's just my filter system, how much water I'm pushing through, being in direct sunlight and things like that. If I do get more fish, which I've obviously fallen into the trap that I want more fish. When I go to Sunnybank, if I see what I want to, I'll say a yellow fish, a red and white fish, not orange, and I want a Goshki. So if they've got them there and I like them and it's right money, I shall come back with some of them. I won't be coming back with, I think they're called a Tamasaga, the little pot-bellied fish, which seems to be the flavour of the month at the moment. Unfortunately, it looks too much like me. It looks like its airbag's gone off, and I don't want to be reminded that I look like that. So we'll see what we can get when we go down there next month. I'm going to have a look at the some of the plants now that you looked at last time. But as I say, with circumstances, looking after your fish, whether you're at work or years ago, I was doing 12-hour shifts, and at one point I was doing 7 nights, 1 off, in 7 days. So I think that's the point. I stopped worrying about my pond and worrying more about getting some money in and earning a living. So we'll just have a pop across here and have a look at some of the plants. You can see here I bought my first ever water testing kit. I've also got a medical kit which I got from Quinny a few weeks ago, and I've obviously been looking through my book just to try and get an idea exactly what I've got to do. I was going to do a water test, but I've bought some clover leaf to get rid of the blanket weed. In here, these are some of the tomatoes that we're growing. This one here is the it was on its own, it was the only one that came through, the Gardener's Delight. And what I said at the time is, when they go leggy, which is what this one's done, the reason I put the seeds in lower down is so I can top up. I can do it better when I'm not holding a camera. I can top it up and give it another chance. I can stand it back up, and that's where having to repot it. These are what I've done. If you look down a bit lower, you can see where I've filled them to the top of the pot and stood them back up again. It's better than actually repotting them or letting them go on until they fall over. If I can get this going, not sure whether I can or not, and I'm not sure even if you can see it, but I've found some photos on my tablet. A bit awkward to see actually. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. Not very well. But this is the garden I used to look after down at my dad's. It's 90 foot long. It's about 30 foot wide. These in here are my strawberries. I used to keep them in old baths. Quite handy really. We're having a plug hole. It had got a natural drain. It's a bit awkward to see. I don't think I can get it any better. But as you look down, you can see I've actually got netting round here and things like that, basically because I had foxes. This is in the greenhouse. I think this was about the 22nd of May a few years ago. You can see the tomatoes are starting, are well up there. That's what we're looking for. And that, I think they were the ones I'd put in earlier, been on my windowsill and that, and they're actually in pots ready to start growing. You can see, hopefully you can see, that's a bit bloody awkward, but yeah, that's why I think I'm able to talk about the garden, because I did look after that for about 16 years. So getting back to these tomatoes here, if you look, you can see that they're growing an extra leaf now, like a frilly leaf. That's when you can actually repot them. You don't do it really if you can help it while it's just got the 2 leaves on, like this one here. But once it gets the 3rd frilly leaf on, that's the time to pot it on if you want to. But if you keep it in that and keep standing it up, it's one of the tomatoes are one of the plants where it will throw roots out from side. I do it with chilies. I do it with pretty much everything. Just to show you that I got bored last year as well, and decided I'd try and paint. So I did that. Obviously with granddaughter, trying to learn her to do a bit of painting. I think some fish need a bit warmer water and a bit more food, to be honest, but never mind. They do look a bit... I tried to get all the varieties in there. Chagoys and Shishuis and things like that, but we do as best. Right, I'll take you down the garden now and just show you that what we do with the fish, looking after them, making sure that the environment's right for them and everything else, the water's right. With the garden you do a similar sort of thing. I've got glass on here to warm the soil up. It's time that your onions sets went out, but the water we've had made it very soggy. So I thought I'll put some glass over it. These are reclaimed, well, you don't know what they are. They are a cooler from a bakery, stainless steel, and the bread slides onto that as it goes around the cooler to cool down. I used to work at a bakery, and what I did, I got them when they were throwing them away, cut them down, and I use them to screen, because the pigeons will pull your onion sets out. Just there, it's just warming some more up there for when my beetroot wants to come out, and again here. But all the glass is recycled from an old greenhouse. The decking is all recycled from what decking was down in front of the shed. The shed is actually an old concrete garage up to that point. And then I put a wood front on it just to make it look like a normal shed. But right up to that point each side is concrete, is an old concrete garage. We'll nip into the greenhouse now. What we've got in here is, obviously, a fortnight ago they just popped the heads through soil. These I've actually had some off for this. We had a posh salad one day. I've repotted the flowers, and the mange too wasn't through. It's come through now. On that side, not on that, but it is on its way. There is signs of life. The micro veg is through, and the spring onions have started to come through. The potatoes, what was here a fortnight ago, they'd already poked through, so I put another 6 inch of soil compost on them, buried them again, and they've started coming through again. You can see them pushing up. I've had a bit of lettuce off. There's the cucumbers what I bought into here. They were getting too big for the window ledge, and there's some of the tomatoes what I had upstairs on the window ledge. Put some cabbage and things like that in to bring them on. Some more carrots have started coming through, and the radishes are flying. As I said, I wouldn't normally put them in there. I just wanted you to see that they will grow whatever you put it in, but you'd be better off putting them in something like that. The reason I say this, my wife don't like radishes, so I only put a few in at a time, and if I do it on like a 4-weekly basis, I can get my radishes, and I'm not taking a lot of room up. I'm not planting them in the garden. The beetroot were what I'd planted the day before I did the last video is now through. And what I'll do now, I'll show you the Lonely Mange 2 that was there last time, and I have prepared it. So, but this is what these little pots are really good for. Now I've got this ready. This is an old mixing tub that we had at the bakery when they're doing the ingredients for the bread. They put some in these and then tip it into the mixer after the flour and that's got in. Now what I'd normally do with this is just tweak these roots out, make an hole and just bang it in. I'd normally do it a bit tidier than that, to be honest. And now that will stay in there. I will fill it up with others, and sometimes what I do, I tweak the top out, and sometimes what happens then, it actually opens up the top of the plant, and you can very often get it to split and make you more than one stem, so you can get more Mange 2 peas or whatever. I don't really like growing peas much, simply because they're not value for money. It takes you all your time to grow them, and the only time I actually eat them is when I'm in the garden and I just fancy some out at pod. They're so cheap and frozen straight away. I'm not a fan of growing peas. Used to try, but I'm going to try and pause you now, so if you get cut off and I don't come back, you understand I've made another cock up. But I'm going to try and get a fish out and show you, and we'll just have a look what they look like and see if they're healthy. Catch you in a minute. Well, that was fun. I've got water everywhere and wet through, but this is Crockett. He's I'll not say he's one of my favourite fish, because if anybody says it's the favourite fish, they all seem to have trouble with it. I've noticed on a few of the videos over the last few weeks that I know one of the Black Country lads lost one of his favourites, but I think he's a lovely fish. I'll try and pull him up. Trouble is I'm on my own, so it's fun and games. But I quite like his back end, with the pattern on his back end. It's a bit unusual, and I believe you call it a zip. Well, I'll let him just calm down. I don't like getting them out, and I definitely don't put anything to sedate him slightly, having never used it. But if I can get him to turn around a bit, I think he's about 50 cm, but he's not going to be far off. Come that way. But for me, when I bought him, he was about 15 quid, something like that, and about 3 inches long, and just to see him develop, especially with that back end there, beautiful. He has got a bit of damage on his anal fin, but I think that was done when he was younger, and we had a really poor quality net, and I think what happened, it got ripped. And I've noticed there's a couple of other fish who suffer the same thing. I think my Benny, Jimrin Bennygoy, Tango, he suffers the same. I reckon he's 50. There's got to be something like that. Oh, he's calmed down a bit now, but if my wife would have been here, we probably could have given him a good measure, but he's around about 50. Let's hope next 48, I'd say. Let's hope next year he's going to be about 60. But you can see there, look, I'm sure that was caused years ago. Unless somebody else can enlighten me on that, I'm sure that fin was damaged in a net, and it's just grown like that. It never went back together. I'm going to pause you again, and I'm going to have another go. Let's see if we can get another one out. It's like bingo. Right, we're back again. This will be the last thing I'm taking out. It's traumatising me. I don't know about the fish. This is my oldest fish. He's over 30-year-old, and I think I might have just damaged the scale on him as I got him out. But he just fits in bowl nicely. He is quite a broad fish. This is difficult, but you can see it's quite a wide fish, depth. He's struggling to swim in there. I don't like this. I think I'm going to call it a day with getting fish out until I've got some help. Going back to recycling stuff and things like that, I actually thought the biggest, most important thing I've ever recycled in my life, because I've been married twice, I realised it was me. So anybody who's been married twice, I would say he's been recycled. So on that note, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a bit messy, but I have to do it in one hit. It's the first time I've ever paused the video. If you've got any comments, and likes, share, whatever you want to do. But have a good rest of the week and a lovely Easter. And I'll speak to you in April. Thank you. Bye.